For a second I wish I knew you. For a second I wish I owned you. Or I could simply get lost. Would it be better than haunting you?
Fantastic. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. You?
Fantastic, fantastic. So obviously, look, it's wonderful to see you, and obviously everyone's going to be just excited as I am to see you right now. So you're in America. You're in America right now, aren't you? So what time is it in America, and what's the weather like?
It's 2 p.m. right now.
Okay. What part of the States are you in?
California, West Hollywood.
Okay. Good. So obviously you had me waiting for a second, obviously. And yesterday we were meant to have this interview and you cancelled on me because you had something going on in the studio. So what's happened in the studio? What were you doing? Is it a new song?
Yeah, we're actually working on a new EP with Adrian Gerbitz.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the third song in the EP, and it went pretty well. I already listened to the song like 50 times since we recorded.
Okay.
So I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
Wow, great. Well, that's obvious. We're all excited about that because at the end of the day, everyone's going to learn about your music. They're going to have the intro to this. They're going to hear your stuff and hear your song, hear your voice. And I'm sure you got loads of fans. I know that. At the end of the day, they're going to be very excited to know that you've got another track coming out. But before we go into the interview, I just want to thank Ettore, and Terry Cedar, because obviously these are the guys that helped set this up. Without them, we wouldn't be having an interview now. Okay?
Yeah.
So I just want to thank them. I do that as a precursor to every interview because, I love to thank people that help me out and, and make things possible. You forget people and you're in the industry, you can't forget the people that help you, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, always got to remember.
Thanks for having me.
No, pleasure. So, okay, first question I want to ask you, because obviously I love your music, okay? And I basically wanted to learn about you with the audience. I didn't want to just go, go gung-ho into saying, okay, go for your bio and find everything out. I wanted to basically learn and appreciate the experience at the same time with the audience. So I don't know anything really much about you, okay? Are you an American artist? You got quite an interesting accent. Are you an American artist? Or are you in the States just to push your music?
Yeah, I moved here to live here, actually. And since my life involves music, yeah.
So where are you from, though?
I was born in Turkey and I grew up in Turkey.
Okay.
Pretty much all my life in Turkey was like the school times. I finished college and moved here 5 years ago. I first moved to Dayton, Ohio because I put out a music video and shared it on a website, and somehow a manager from Dayton, Ohio found it and they invited me over there. So I thought that it would be interesting because everybody that I know are interested in going to Chicago, New York, LA. Dayton, Ohio is not a place that I've ever heard at that time. So I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting experience. And I'm actually really happy that happened because it was so like outside of the box. Like when I moved here, life wasn't that different, but in Dayton, Ohio, it was just a dreamy place for me in positives and negatives. I'm just saying it's a dream, like with its nightmares, but I felt like it wasn't a real world. So I really appreciated that experience and everybody that I met there. But after 5 months, I was like, I think for my music, I have to make a choice and move to LA. So I moved out here.
Well, definitely. I think your music kind of suits the LA and the LA crowd, and it's now, isn't it? It's very it's moving and it's powerful and it's strong, and it's just one of those kind of things that you're gonna hear it on the radio. It's gonna get out there eventually at some point. But you definitely look Swedish. I got a lot of Swedish friends that look like you. Has anyone
I
ever said
hear
that before?
Swedish. I hear Russian. Like when Russian people see me, they start speaking in Russian, and I'm like, I don't speak your language, and they don't want to believe me. They think I'm messing with them. So yeah, I hear those things a lot. But yeah, I was born in Turkey. My parents are Turkish, so
okay.
Variety of genes.
No, fantastic. Obviously, it's a big world. That's the whole point. Do you know what I mean? We're all different. We all look different. we have these kind of stereotypes, don't we? Assume that people are from one place and they're not. And it's like, that's what we've got to change, to be fair. You know, we've got to kind of just realize it's a big world, and you know, you can't sit there and say, okay, this is just because someone looks a certain way, that's where they're from. Narrow-minded stuff. But anyway, go back to your music. The song "I Killed Something." Okay, I love that song. It's I've been playing it a lot. You know, even before the interview, I've been sitting down and listening to the song, and it just kind of resonates with me. You know, it's I love acoustic music anyway, so that's one of the things. But you know, it's very much an authentic acoustic song. Okay.
Yeah.
But who was responsible for the upfront vocals on that production? You know, why did you do that? And are you going to do a lot more acoustic-led material?
People who know me for a long time really think that I should keep doing that because it is so raw, and just the way you write the song out there for the audience. But when it comes to the production and all the details of arranging the song, there's other people involved and so many other technical details involved. So it's not as you know, direct maybe. But I wrote that song when I first moved here, and that's a song that actually kind of grew up on the streets because I would busk with that song. And while busking, I would just experiment different parts, and you know, dependent on the people who are listening in that moment or how I was feeling, I would just make some parts longer, shorter, or sing it differently. So I picked up the parts that I loved the most in the end, and I wanted to record it, and I just wanted it to like reflect all that phase, all the phases that I've been through, like throughout the times that I performed it live. So it's like, I think at that time, it was the type of song that I wanted to put out in a very like primitive, basic arrangement, minimalistic way. And yeah, I'm planning to put out more acoustic music, but my EP won't be acoustic. But there's going to be some surprises in the middle of the release is probably acoustic videos and.
Okay, so I love that. But who's responsible for the title? I Killed Something. That's quite a lead in. It's quite a direct. Like, you know, I just thought, wow, I've got to hear this. I didn't expect it to be an acoustic just because of the title alone.
Yeah, it's I Killed Something, and it's emotional and raw because I wrote that song when I first moved here, which is a time that I left a lot of things behind. And, you know, you hear things like, you left your friends, you left your family, you know, all your life, everything. So, and some people weren't really supportive of my decision, firstly my parents. So it's like, I killed something, I don't know what, but it's something, like something that I don't care much about, because I don't think that physical existence is the main dynamic of my relationships with people. I think people should be where they think they should be and keep in touch, be in contact with the people that they love, regardless of whatever land they're living in. So it was kind of, that's why it's emotional and at the same time killed something. Yeah.
Well, interesting. And obviously, as an artist, you guys have creative minds anyway, so you just kind of put things together in such a way. Not everyone's going to get it straight off the bat. But at the end of the day, it works. It works fantastically as a song.
Thank you.
Told me I killed something, and I have no idea what they're working on. Yes, maybe I keep ignoring, but would you face it on your own? Whatever, I saw somebody today, yeah, it's kind of funny, but it keeps me hanging up things, yeah. It keeps my head above water. I ran out of spoons to get. For a second I wish I knew you. For a second I wish I owned you. Or I could simply get lost. Would it be better than haunting you? For a second I wish I knew you.
Coming to that whole kind of creative mind, the name Buell, okay? Is that some kind of cryptic message, or was that a random thing? Who came up with the name, and why the name Buell?
Yeah. Changing the country, I also felt like I was going to have a chance to discover myself fully for the first time, because when you grow up around the same people for a long period of time, it's kind of sometimes hard to make big changes in your life, because you know you're going to upset people, or sometimes you get shy about making some changes, and it's just another reason to not to do that. So I thought that big part of it was also how you are called by people. Like my birth name, Begum, it's some sort of persona maybe. It's just one of those things that people discover, because like you have tons of personas that you keep discovering throughout your life. So I just thought that it was a good idea too.
Yeah, exactly. You probably did. You probably had loads of personas. But, you know,
yeah, I mean, I think it's the same for everybody. Like that's how I see it. It's not all about like being an artist or trying to create a new persona. I think it's the same for everybody. Like you don't really use the same persona at the office, at home,
I get it.
while doing interviews with people. So it's like different, like, and it's like understandable and relatable from I think should be from everybody's perspective. And yeah, I thought that it would be a good idea to change that. And for that name, I just needed it to not to mean much to anybody. And when I, you know, typed Buell on Google, the only thing I saw was like it was a British last name, like with one L. Really represents or, you know, trigger anything. And I like the fact that, you know, it didn't have a gender, it didn't have a meaning, and I was just free to discover myself as a human being instead of, you know, as a person who was born in Turkey and studied psychology and moved here to make music.
Wow.
You know, those are
you studied psychology. You studied psychology.
I
was fun because I'm trying to, because you're talking to me. I'm thinking, this girl's got such a big brain. You know, she's such, you know, this is my sister, but she's such but you're such a smart girl.
So yeah, I felt the need to do that, and I'm really glad that I did that, because it just makes me feel less pressured. But you know, it just worked out for me. I don't know if it would work out for everybody. Maybe people would be like, who am I? But I just didn't feel that. You know, I felt that identity crisis all my life since I was 4 or something. So I'm not really interested in trying to find myself, but it's more about like discovering my DNA and what else is out there for me other than how I've been nurtured outside of my control. What can I do for myself, kind of thing. Yeah. So, so Buell and BB Buell is the reason why I was introduced to this name, because with all these ideas in my head, I was somehow looking at Steven Tyler's Wikipedia, and then I got to Liv Tyler's Wikipedia, and I found out that her mom's name is BB Buell, and I'm like, such a good name, and her last name had 2 L's, so I was like, I'm gonna make it with 1 L in Buell. So then I thanked her too. I told her. So yeah. That's the story
well, you know what? It's very hard to be original nowadays. So to find a new name, kudos to you. So fantastic.
Thanks.
So you've got a great name. It's an interesting name. I had to ask you the question. So that in itself is fabulous, because you've done something very great. You got us all thinking, which is fabulous. But anyway, so obviously I know at this point we're talking about a lot of stuff and everything else and these names and things like that. But I just want to know, who are your influences? Who are your influences?
I mean, my first biggest influence that I can remember is Nirvana. It's not limited to grunge music, but it's about the band's philosophy and what they represented. It really hit me, and I think it really guided me over the years to pick the topics that I want to focus on. Inclusivity, first of all. And after that, I think one of my biggest influences, Meredith Monk. As an artist, seeing her, I felt very encouraged to, witness that a human can move the way they want to move, make sounds the way they want to make sounds. Like that, you're free. So all these like social constructs and like the pressure that people put on us, like, why do you behave that way? Why do you speak that way? Why do you talk that way? Why do you do that? There's no need for an answer. It's just my soul. So I felt her connection with her soul, and that really inspired me to go in the same path and try to get there. So she's one of my biggest influences. And I think Woody Allen also.
See, Woody Allen,
they aren't all, I didn't feel like they all had to be musicians, because music comes from your brain, and you can feed your brain with all sorts of things. It doesn't only have to be a sound. It can be some other thing that can inspire a sound that you want to make. So yeah, Woody Allen inspired me. Why? Because I think he's such a raw, and like listening to him, I can see how free he is to be honest about what he wants to say. He feels like he doesn't let other people to disturb what he wants to say. Like he just says it right away. I like that straightforward thing. And of course, he's a nihilist. I just love the point of views that he offers. And I think he's very enlightening. Like just watching his movies and listening to his interviews, I found him very enlightening.
No, definitely. No, I hear you there. And obviously my thoughts are, when I think about Woody Allen, I think about a lot, exactly. He would put whatever he wants out into the world so the world could see it. And that leads me to the question is about also how themes and where these themes come from into the music. Do you basically, America right now is under the microscope, all right?
Yeah.
Basically, we've got like Black Lives Matter, we've got Antifa, we've got all sorts of stuff with Trump. That's been, because of Trump, that's what's kind of caused a lot of this stuff. Now, all I want to ask you is, do any of these social issues ever end up as themes in your music?
It's impossible not to be impacted when there's such strong events are going on around you. But I wouldn't want, especially political issues, to become a direct topic in my music. I'd like to use more cryptic words to allow people like a free platform to figure out what they want to think, just to provoke thinking, like not in a way that I want to say things to make people agree with me. I really do appreciate what Yoko Ono and like John Lennon did. And I like the fact that it was also giving a free platform for people to rethink and evaluate their constructs. So I think that's what people need to become more acceptant and inclusive towards people who don't look like them or feel like them or think like them. So it's really important for me to not to impose things on people, but to provoke ideas to think. I think it's the basic part of evolving, like thinking about things. So yes, I am impacted, but it's not going to be a clear thing that can be observed.
Okay, hey, but you talked about one of your heroes, which has been Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain, he was he's a rock god, grunge king, all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, he was all about the angst. It was all about the teenage angst and just what rock and roll stands for. Okay, and so for me, statements being like getting the world to know that we exist was very important for Nirvana or Kurt Cobain. You went and did his cover. You just recently done a cover of his track "Smell Like Teen Spirit." Now, but with you did a very different. I'm interested. Obviously, I'm talking about Kurt Cobain because I'm trying to say how radical he was. But you went and did something radical yourself by doing a very different version of it, like a very kind of soft approach to the track. what's the response been like, and why did you do it like that?
I think what I loved about Kurt Cobain or Nirvana was the fact that 101, you don't have to please people. And that's, I think, the biggest
message. Again, I miss you. What did you say? 101, what?
You don't have to please people. Like, you don't, that shouldn't be your main goal.
Yeah, yes, right.
So that's how it was born. Like, their music, why they got together, and all the things that Kurt had to say. I think that's like the primary message, and the inclusivity comes second. So the fact that I didn't feel like I don't need to please people kind of allowed me to think outside the box, and, you know, made me allow myself to cover the song in a total different genre, because I wasn't really trying to make people like it or steal Nirvana's fans. I mainly did it because I liked it. And secondly, when I try to think deeper on that, because I've been receiving this question a lot, so I had a chance to like think, why did I even? But because it comes from maybe I just wanted people to like dig a little deeper into the lyrics and figure that it's not all about the grunge music. It's the lyrics. It's the message behind the lyrics too. So I didn't change the lyrics. Lyrics are the same, and we can still focus on them. So yeah.
You know, I get it, but you know, I'm still trying to understand the lyrics. You know, was it my libido, an albino? I'm still trying to understand. I think that.
So I think those are all the things that are being beaten up with people. You know, entertain us. Like, people want to be entertained. People expect things from you. They want to be pleased, and that angst is coming from, I don't want to please you. Leave me alone. So in the end, your libido also is like killed, because you know, you have no reason to live if all you have to do is to please people and entertain people. So I don't know. I mean, that's how I interpreted it, and how I perceived it. You know, he always says he doesn't put much emphasis, like he doesn't think too much about his lyrics, but as a fan, I know that like it's coming from long thought processes. Like, he already had set ideas in his head. Just the way he, I think, wrote them down wasn't planned and structured in a way that people normally do, like in songs. But yeah. But
he got away with it. That's the thing. He got away with it. Like a bit of like David Bowie. Apparently, David Bowie apparently used to go to oh god, he went to, I don't know what it was, some kind of book, and just grabbed the words out of it and just threw it into his music, and he made songs out of it.
Exactly.
But he was such a fantastic guitar player, such a fantastic creative. He just works. And Kurt Cobain, exactly the same.
Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello, 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 how low, hello, 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 how low, hello, 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 how low, hello, hello, hello. With the lights out, it's just dangerous. See, we are now entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. See, we are now entertainers. I'm a lotto and albino. I'm a ski, oh, I'm a libido. Hey.
So that's rock and roll, that's angst, that's all the stuff that the teenagers love. How would you categorize your music?
You know, I'd like to say alternative, just because I want to give myself myself space to travel between different genres in time. Like right now, what people call my music is indie pop because it's not popular.
Indie, you know,
if it was popular, they're going to call it mainstream or whatever. But, you know, I may do country music. I don't know. It may change. It's just I want to keep it alternative. So that's, I think, how I would try to categorize it.
Good. Well, obviously, I like the fact you said that because obviously it means we have no idea what you're going to do next. Which is quite nice. Certainly quite eclectic. And there used to be a time when bands were all about just trying to stick to a certain style. Like Coldplay, it's the same. You know, it's great, but it's the same.
No, they actually change a lot. I mean, I don't know. Some of their songs sounded a little bit like EDM.
No, absolutely. They do. They're able to change the themes more so. But in terms of a certain way, I mean, maybe now it's new music, but for quite a few of the albums, the early albums, they're very, very similar. And it's nice when bands start to think, actually, I don't have to do the same. I can do what I want. The record industry is always trying to trap you into these ideas, and bands evolve.
I think it's maybe also about like what you focus on in your music. Like, I like focusing on my vocals and my lyrics. So I like changing the format. But if you come up with such a cool style or genre like grunge music, like you may have to keep doing that because they're like the god of it or whatever, you know, you came up with it. So it would be a good idea to like feed people more and more about what you came up with. So yeah, I think people, like different artists, have different motivations continuing to do the same things or different stuff.
Okay, good. Well, talking about change, all right, you mentioned the word change. What would you change? 2 things would you would change about America?
Probably starting with the things that I love about here and why I moved here. And the fact that I'm starting to feel them less and less would be the stuff that I would change. Like the first reason why I wanted to come here is the fact that this country is like based on diversity. It's like united. So that union is something that I'm looking for, like variety. And the more I see people like not being inclusive and trying to form the type of groups that are only like them, like themselves, like it's kind of I don't know, unattractive to me.
I hear you.
So I love to make America stick to its own brand. And like you know, the second reason, let's think, why I wanted to move here is the individualistic nature of it. Like coming from a country like Turkey, which is a super collective culture, like people love holding hands and like making sure that, hey, we are all the same religion and like we all think the same like tradition, culture, you know. So it's like it was something that was like really bothering me. So coming here, I thought that seeing a lot of different cultures and like nationalities and like all sorts of ideas like coming from different origins would be very inspiring for me. So if I was to be able to change something, I would change the fact that there's still some problem areas with this subject too here. Like people still aren't able to accept these cultural differences and you know, differences in people's origins. So that would be another thing that I would love to change because, you know.
Well, if you could change it, it'd be a much better world, I can assure you. It'll make a more better. Obviously, we can't. America, nowhere's perfect, but it will certainly really, really help. Okay. Well, and again, I love. We're on this theme of change. Okay, this is the last question I'm going to ask you. I love your look. Okay, but I've seen your other looks of yours. Okay, now this look of yours is like a modern day Marilyn Monroe. Okay, is this basically part of your pop appeal? Or basically, are you going to change again? Are you going to have another look tomorrow? Or is this your forever Begum?
It can't be. Because the reason why I've been changing this a lot is weirdly, maybe I'm a sensitive person, but however you dress up or you make your hair, the way people treat you changes, and it's like fun to watch, but at the same time not fun to be stuck in that stereotype. Like being like a girl with long blonde hair all my life, there was some sort of a stereotype that I was constantly facing, which I didn't enjoy, being like playing that thing that people were putting on me. So changing this all the time is kind of giving me the, you know, the type of change, the type of inspiration or the freedom I need. And no, I didn't really think that it would look like Marilyn Monroe or whatever, because my hair was like yours, and it just grew slowly, and I bleached it, and I was like, wow, this looks cool, actually, I'm just going to keep it. So it wasn't, you know, it was just growing, and I like keeping it here, but it's probably going to change like soon. So it's not like,
well, yeah. I'll tell you one thing, you know, I wish I could grow my hair. Sadly, I'm losing my hair. So this is not by choice anymore. I used to love when I
felt so free though.
I've shaved it too many times.
Bald, it just felt so good, like not.
Yeah, it is
hair.
Beautiful. It's absolutely. I must say, it's a beautiful.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free. I've had this freedom for a long time. I don't want to lose it. Now I'm losing it anyway. I've lost the opportunity to change it. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you know, I'm very happy to have had this opportunity to interview you. And the most important thing is just being part of your journey. You know, as Clusterview, this is what we try to do. We want to get involved with lots of artists and so forth, and just having the opportunity to talk to someone who I've seen you on Facebook. I didn't just I was introduced to music by Ettore, but I found your stuff prior. To be fair, he said, Mark Anthony, no, actually I wasn't introduced to music by Ettore. Someone had already sent me this stuff, or I'd seen it on Facebook. So trust me, it's working. Whatever you're doing is working. So just keep it up, all right? And thank you for this opportunity. And just like, if you want to say something to the fans, please, you can say something now to them. So this is going to be all over the internet.
More music coming soon.
Fabulous.
Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure.
Thank you very much. And I want to get you on the site, okay? He's one of our artists. Is that going to be possible?
I'm sorry?
I want to get you on our site as one of our artists. Is that going to be possible?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. We'll get you on there. So when people go to Clusterview, they can find you. Have a wonderful night.
BuellMusic.com. All right. See you.
What's that? Say it again. What's the name of it? What's the
BuellMusic.com.
Buell Music, everyone. You've heard it here first. BuellMusic.com. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Awesome. You too.
Pleasure.